Mhm. Well, at least we got the breakout rooms all figured out and the sharing of the documents.
That's good. We use it in my municipal court. So if I got somebody on and they want to pay their fine, our clerks is already in the breakout room. So I just put them in the breakout room and they take care of their fine. That way, works good.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe he's still operating off that old ass computer. Tight.
Hold on.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Judge, I think you're muted.
Okay, so for the Bevins, do either one of you have attorneys?
We do not.
Okay, all right, so then let me see for the two of you. I'll get you both to raise your right hands. You and each of you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And they don't want a record. Okay, so Ms. Bevan, you are the petitioner in this case. So
Sir.
you may proceed with your testimony.
Your Honor, my name is Ashley Diane Bevan. I filed this suit for divorce from my spouse, Russell Dean Bevan. At the time I filed for divorce, I had lived in Texas for at least 6 months and in Austin County for at least 90 days. I am asking for a divorce because our marriage has become unworkable and there is no reasonable expectation that we will get back together. My spouse and I have 2 children who are under 18 or still in high school. I ask that custody, visitation, and support for our children be ordered as set out in the decree of divorce I have presented to the court. I believe that these orders would be in the best interest of our children. I am not expecting a child and I did not have children with anyone else during the marriage. I ask that our property and debts be divided as set out in the decree of divorce I have presented to the court. I believe this division is fair to both me and my spouse. I respectfully ask the court to grant my divorce.
Okay, so Mr. Bevan, do you have any questions about any of the testimony that she gave?
I do not.
And then Mr. Bevan, do you have anything that you want to say?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay, so let me just go over a few things. And then Ms. Bevan, did you want a name change?
No, sir.
Okay, so you have a modified possession order. And both of you have looked over that and you know when you have the right to the child and when the other person has the right to the child.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so and then Mr. Bevan, there is a section here on page 9, talks about child support. So you're going to pay $1,712.59 every month for child support.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and on page 10 of the decree, and I'm going to put a little asterisk by this so you can see it. There's a place in there where it says where you're going to send the child support. It's to an address in San Antonio. Okay, so you mail it there, and then they'll send that to Ms. Bevan.
Okay.
Okay, so and Ms. Bevan, they have the address for you on Grammy Street in Sealy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if that changes, just make sure to update these records because that's where the check will be sent to you.
Okay.
Okay. And then as far as the property is concerned, so Mr. Bevan, you're going to get the property on Dee's Circle, right?
It's actually under contract, so we're selling, and then we've already, you'll see that we divided the equity where she gets 3/4 of it.
Okay. And then you're going to get the Ford Fusion.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And is that paid off or is there still a note on that?
It is not. There's still a note, yes.
Okay. And is the note in both of your names or just your name?
It's an
It's
asset
just
thing.
my name.
Okay. So Ms. Bevan, you know, he's getting that Ford Fusion, but it's still in your name. So until it's paid off, whoever is the lien holder, you know, could come after you if it's not paid.
Right.
And then Ms. Bevan, you're getting the Ford Edge. And so the same question,
It's just in my name.
okay. So, you're responsible for that one too. Okay, anybody else have any questions about anything?
How quickly, do you know, how quickly does it get sent to where like they'll take me off the medical and insurance and all that through his work, do you know? Is it once you've signed and it's all officially filed?
And it's really gonna, I'll sign it today. The clerk will have it today, but it's gonna be up to the two of you, to Mr. Bevan, if you're gonna take her off for your insurance, you'll need to get a copy of this decree and send it to your employer so that they'll know what to do.
Okay.
So,
There is an option legally to stay on it?
well, probably, I'm guessing now with your employer, Mr. Bevan's employer, it probably just covers, him, the kids, and a spouse. So they will, once they get the word that you're divorced, they're probably going to take you off.
Okay.
So are you going to have coverage, Ms. Bevan?
I won't once I get taken off. I'll have to figure something out.
And the kids are still going to be covered
Correct.
through Mr. Bevan?
Mm.
All right, well then based on the testimony, I'll grant the divorce, approve the property division, and approve the terms for the support and custody of the children and find that's in their best interest. Okay,
Thank
right.
you.
Anybody got any questions?
So will we just get the paperwork in the mail when it's official, or how does that work?
Well, you'll have to contact the clerk and request that a copy is sent to you.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a certain amount of time we should wait before requesting it?
If you want to check later today, I have the file
Oh.
right here, and I have some other people waiting on a hearing, and then
Okay.
the clerk should have it in the next hour or so.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you just get out?
Okay, so now with Gonzalez. So who do we have? Who's representing who now on the Christian Patino and Nelly Gonzalez?
Correct, Judge. Good morning. Your Honor, I represent the petitioner Christian Patino, and I believe he's in the waiting room. Do you see him in your Christian Patino? There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, and then see, is it Nelly Gonzalez? Are you, let me get you to, Ms. Gonzalez, if you can unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so Ms. Gonzalez, are you representing yourself today?
Yeah, I cannot afford an attorney.
Okay, and let's see, and then Ms. Ramirez is going to be the interpreter.
That's correct,
And-
Judge.
Okay, and who's the person that Ms. Ramirez will be interpreting for?
For my client, Mr. Christian Patino.
All right, so then we'll call this case is cause number 2020L7719 in the matter of the marriage of Christian Patino and Nelly Gonzalez. So Ms. Law, if I can get you to announce your client.
Yes, Judge. And Judge, if I may, Ms. Ramirez has to interpret everything you say to my client. So can I give her just a minute and then I can do your request and make my announcement, or how would Your Honor?
Yeah, I want to get the announcements first, and then I'll have to swear in the interpreter
Got it.
and do the whole thing.
Understood. Your Honor, my name is Nora Law, L-A-W. I represent the petitioner, Christian Patino.
All right, and then Ms. Gonzalez, you're the respondent in this case. If you just announce your name.
My name is Nelly Gonzalez.
Okay, and then we have
Your Honor, I'm sorry for the interruption. I believe Mr. Gonzalez is having audio issues. I'm sorry, Mr. Patino. He's signaling to us that he can hear us. Señor González, señor Patino, ¿no nos escucha? ¿Aló, señor? He doesn't hear us, Judge.
He's trying to connect.
I think he's connecting to audio now. Señor, ¿nos escucha?
Perhaps he can log off and log on, Judge. I know this is time consuming. I apologize.
Señor, ¿is that okay, Judge?
Yes.
Señor Patino, por favor, desconecte y vuelva a entrar para ver si así se le soluciona el problema. Well, if he cannot hear us, I don't know that he can.
Ms. Law, can you text him or call him?
Your Honor, if I may, I'm going to have my assistant call him right now to tell him to log off and log back on.
Okay.
Thank you for your courtesies. We're doing it now, Judge.
Great.
Your Honor, my understanding is he's already logged out, and so he should be in your waiting room momentarily.
Okay.
Cross fingers.
Yeah.
That's my IT. I just turn it off, turn it back on, and sometimes it works.
Your Honor, does your court have access to the simultaneous feature with Zoom? No.
You've already lost me. So I don't.
Some courts down here doing it, but most still are not. So it just comes
You're
out
referring
like,
to simultaneous translation?
yes.
No, I will not be able to hear if you're translating at the same time that the.
No,
It's gonna-
no. The application is made so that you can, but you will only hear the English version of it. There is access for the judge, and I believe other attorneys as well, to hear the interpreter if they wish to do so. But it comes out very clear. It's really very, very nice. And, you know,
Saves time, I think.
it saves time, yes.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
we do it at the same time.
As the court reporter, I'm always having issues of people talking over each other. So
Yeah.
I don't know anything about being able to translate simultaneously.
Yes, but like I said, this is not talking one on top of the other person. You will only hear one voice at a time. Trust me, that's the way it goes. It's wonderful.
¿Puedes escuchar, señor?
Keep connecting.
Can you hear us, sir? Unmute yourself. Tienes que unmute. Señor Ramirez, can you tell him? Oh, there he is.
Yo escucho.
We're good, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
Sure. Okay. So Ms. Ramirez, if I can get you to identify yourself.
Isabel Ramirez.
All right. So first, Ms. Ramirez, if I can get you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Ramirez, are you familiar with the English language and the Spanish language?
I am, Your Honor.
And you can translate from one to the other?
I can.
And have you had contact at all with Mr. Patino?
Not at all, Your Honor.
Okay. And have you translated in court proceedings before?
Yes, I have, Your Honor. I am a licensed court interpreter. My license number is 1611. I've been doing this for quite a few years, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Law, do you have any questions for Ms. Ramirez?
No, Judge.
And Ms. Gonzalez, do you have any questions that you want to ask Ms. Ramirez about her ability to interpret?
No.
All right, so then Ms. Ramirez, we can get you to raise your right hand one more time. And you solemnly swear that you'll translate from the English language to the Spanish language and from the Spanish language to the English language.
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Ms. Law, what are you asking for today?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a motion for temporary orders, and the sole issue is to sell or to ask this court to order that the marital residence located at 4353 Houston Street, Sealy, Texas, 77474, be listed for sale. I have
El juez, if I may
Yes,
have
I'm
a
sorry.
moment, el juez acaba de preguntarle a su abogada, señor, qué es lo que se está solicitando del tribunal. La abogada acaba de anunciar que esto es para órdenes temporarias y lo que se está solicitando es la venta de la propiedad localizada en el 4353 de la calle Houston, en Sealy, Texas, 77474.
Ok, está bien.
Okay. that's
And
fine.
Judge, I have filed a summary of requested relief, and I have asked that the house be listed with Rocio Rosales. And if you're looking with the filed exhibits, that'd be exhibit number 5.
Y su señoría, he presentado a la Corte un resumen de lo que se está solicitando y lo que se está solicitando es que la casa sea puesta a la venta con la señora Rocío Rosales y usted lo verá en la prueba documental número 5.
In addition, Judge, we're simply asking that it be sold for an agreed upon price.
Y además estamos solicitando que la casa sea vendida a un precio del cual se haya tenido un acuerdo mutuo, sobre el cual se...
And that all parties participate in the sale of said house.
Y que todas las partes participen en la venta de la propiedad.
And that upon the sale of the house, the net proceeds be split 50-50.
Y que una vez vendida la casa, en lo que se recaude de la venta de la casa sea distribuido a 50% para cada uno.
At this time, Judge, the parties did separate in October of 2020.
Las partes se separaron en octubre del 2020.
And the rent or the mortgage, excuse me, they're both paying it right now. At this juncture, both parties are paying 50% of the mortgage.
Ya en este momento ambas partes están pagando 50% cada uno de la hipoteca.
But this is not sustainable for much longer, as he's no longer living there, my client.
Pero esto no podrá continuar así por mucho tiempo más porque ya no, mi cliente no está viviendo con la señora.
So my understanding, Judge, is that neither party on their own can maintain the house as the mortgage is $2,200 a month.
Y según tengo entendido, su señoría, ninguna de las dos partes puede mantener los pagos de la hipoteca por sí solos, porque es una cantidad de $2,200.
And since the loan is in both of their names, my client's requesting to sell the house so that he can move forward after this divorce and not have it attached to his credit.
Y ya que la hipoteca o el préstamo sobre la hipoteca está a nombre de los dos, mi cliente solicita que la casa sea vendida para poder él seguir con su vida sin tener que acarrear con esta deuda.
And that's basically a summation of P5, which is my summary of requested relief. I guess a mini opening, if that's what Your Honor was requesting.
And when you said an agreed sales price, what is the price that Mr. Patino is asking that it be listed at?
So we're
Y
not
cuando
at,
usted habla de un precio al que lleguen de común acuerdo, ¿cuál es el precio que está solicitando el señor Patiño para la venta de la casa?
so Judge, we have not listed a price because I'd like to defer that to the realtor. So whatever the realtor, so we have not, the only issue that we ever broached with Ms. Gonzalez was to actually list it.
Bueno, su
En-
señoría, no hemos designado un precio porque preferimos dejar eso a manos del vendedor de bienes raíces.
No,
Lo único que estamos solicitando es que la casa sea puesta a la venta.
At this juncture, Judge, under the HCAD for Austin County, it is appraised at $281,000. But
En el departamento de tasación del condado de Harris, la casa se le ha dado un precio de $281,000.
But as stated, sometimes the realtor, once they walk in, they see things. So I didn't want to encumber the court or the clients. I want them to do what's best. And when they actually talk to a realtor, agree to price between the three of them. If they can't all agree, then we defer to the realtor to put the best marketable price.
Pero muchas veces los vendedores de bienes raíces al entrar a la casa ven cosas, puede que el precio cambie, por lo tanto preferimos que en las tres partes, el vendedor de bienes raíces y las partes involucradas lleguen de acuerdo a un precio.
Now, it should be noted, Judge, that the parties just bought this house literally 1 year ago, September 2019. Well, a little less than a year ago.
Y debo de anunciar que estas partes compraron estas personas compraron esta casa un poquito más de un año atrás, en septiembre
And they
del año
put,
pasado.
I believe, about $15,000 down payment.
Y creo que hicieron un pago inicial de $15,000.
So Ms. Gonzalez, what are you asking for today?
Señora González, ¿qué es lo que usted está solicitando el día de hoy?
I agree to the sale of the property. And I agree to the sale of the property. What I don't agree is that he's asking that if I stay in the property, I should pay the entire mortgage.
Estoy de acuerdo con la venta de la propiedad, pero no estoy de acuerdo con lo que él está solicitando, que si yo me quedo en la casa, yo tenga que pagar la hipoteca totalmente.
And when it comes to the realtor, I don't know who this person is, Rosales. So what I'm asking is if whoever sold us the house to be the same person that sells the house.
Y yo no, con respecto a la persona que venda la casa, la inmobiliaria, yo no sé quién es esta señora Rosales y por lo tanto yo pido que la misma persona que nos vendió la casa sea quien la venda ahora.
Do you know who that person was?
¿Usted sabe quién era esa persona?
Danny Nugent.
So I didn't hear.
No,
Could you repeat that name?
Danny Nugent.
Danny Nugent.
Do you know who the agency is or is that like Remax or?
¿Sabe usted quién es la inmobiliaria?
I think it's Remax.
Creo que es Remax.
I'm not sure.
No estoy segura.
And are you saying the first name is Danny?
It's D-E-N-N-Y.
Denny? And then what's the last name?
Nugent, N-G-U-Y-E-N.
El nombre de la persona que les vendió la casa es Danny Nugent.
Okay. And I believe, from my limited knowledge of that language, I believe it's going to be pronounced win. Just like, the opposite of loss is a win. I think the way that's pronounced is win.
I think you're right, Judge.
Después anuncia que se pronuncia when, es al revés.
All right. So, and where is the Denny Wynn? Is that an Austin County agent, or do you know where that person is located?
¿Y dónde está localizado este señor Wen? ¿Está en Austin County o dónde?
As in, like, what is his area of focus on selling, or?
Well, if we wanted to contact Mr. Wynn and said, would you be willing to sell this property? Where do we call him or where do we contact him?
Después pregunta si quisiéramos comunicarnos con esta persona y decirle queremos que vendas esta propiedad, ¿cómo nos comunicamos con él?
His contact number is 713-884-01 28.
El número de teléfono de él es 713-884-0128.
So let me go back to Miss Law. You had listed person, I think, is it,
Rocio Rosales.
and is that a male or a female?
That's a woman, Judge.
Okay,
Yes, Judge.
so
Señora Law, la persona, I'm sorry, señora Law, la persona que usted nombra es, ¿cómo se llama? Rocío Rosales. Y eso es una mujer, es un hombre, es una mujer.
It's good.
so where is Miss Rosales located?
¿Y dónde está localizada la señora Rosales?
So her office is here in Houston.
La oficina
But-
de ella está aquí en Houston,
She does counties, Brazoria, Austin. I mean,
pero ella trabaja en otros condados como Austin, Brazoria.
So
and
Ms. Law, would you have any objection, or do you want to check into Denny Nguyen and see if,
may I just ask my client while we're here? That way we can just be more efficient.
El juez
Eh,
acaba de preguntarle a la señora Law si tiene alguna objeción con que sea esta persona Denny Wen. La abogada se va a dirigir a usted, señor Patino.
May I ask him, Judge?
yes,
Mr. Patino, do you have any objection to using Denny Nguyen to sell your house?
Señor Patino, ¿tiene usted alguna objeción para que la persona esta que se llama Denny Nguyen venda la casa? ¿Tendría usted problema con eso?
N- No,
No.
If he's familiar with the house, Judge, and he was the one who sold them the house.
Él está familiarizado con la casa y él es quien les vendió la casa.
I think my only concern would be if we contact him and for whatever reason, he's not able to, he can't take it on. I'm not sure. Could we have a plan B? Or would you
Creo-
want to, can Rocio Rosales be plan B in case Denny Nguyen can't do it?
Creo que lo único que me preocupa es que en caso que nos comuniquemos con este señor Denny y que él no esté disponible para vender la casa, ¿cuál sería el plan B? ¿Podría ser la señora Rocío Rosales nuestro plan B?
and I'm wondering if we could just, since Miss Gonzalez listed Mr. Nguyen and gave this phone number, if we just take a short break, and Miss Law, if you just
I
call
can
Mr. Nguyen and make sure he's still a licensed agent and is still doing that, and
Okay,
then we know that right now. So why don't we
perfect.
just- Okay,
Ya que la señora González nos ha ofrecido el número telefónico del señor Wen, ¿por qué no tomamos un breve descanso? Y señora Law, puede usted comunicarse con él y ver si esta persona sigue haciendo inmobiliaria, si está disponible o no.
If I may, Judge, with permission, I can just stay, I just cut my video and mute myself. And
Yes.
then when I'm back, my face will pop up.
sounds good. So we'll
Thank
just
you.
we'll wait for you to pop back up.
Okay, Judge, thanks.
Vamos a tomar un breve descansito para que la señora Law se comunique con el señor Denny.
Judge, are you in the middle of a hearing? or-
No,
Okay, so I did contact Mr. Denny Nguyen.
and that, we can be off the record while we're discussing this.
Okay, and he is also based in Houston. He's not based out in Austin County or Sealy. He is still working. He's still licensed. In fact, he said that Ms. Gonzalez messaged him, I guess, while she was in the court hearing, and she's had contact with him a few weeks ago. I guess they're friends. So that would be my only concern. Rocio Rosales doesn't know either of these parties. But your request was, is he still working? Is he available? Yes. I asked him how soon he could get out there. He says, I don't know how soon because he's based in Houston and this house is in Sealy. And then of course he relayed to me that she had messaged him and that they had talked a few weeks ago. I guess she told him about the divorce and they're friends.
Okay. And what is and I'll talk to both sides, I guess, what's the interest of having an agent located in Houston as opposed to an agent out in Austin County that's closer? So Ms. Law?
Well, I think, Judge, really, they just don't know. I mean, they literally just bought this house in September. And as Ms. Gonzalez articulated, they just somehow got Denny Nguyen to do it, who's Houston-based. The realtors I'm familiar with are all based in Houston. But as indicated, they sell all different counties. So you're right. If we knew somebody in Austin County, I agree with you. It's just that no one on this side has given such a name.
I mean,
I'm sure there's many. I'm sure.
there's many out here, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking if, since Ms. Gonzalez has a concern about Ms. Rosales and Mr. Patino may have a concern about Mr. Nguyen and
Right.
and all of them are in Houston, we could just find somebody in the area in Sealy that's more familiar with the market. And
Okay. What we can do, Judge, I can get 2 names and give them to Ms. Gonzalez, and then, because like I said, it would be equal. I don't know anybody, and I don't know if she does either. Or if Your Honor just wants me to give you 2 names and you pick one, I will do whatever to get this thing listed quickly.
if you want, I mean, an agency that does a lot of sales of residential property, Sealy area, it's Travis Abel.
Okay.
Let me see if I even have
Is that Able, like ABLE?
that's what I always confuse it. So I'm gonna look at it right now. It's ABEL.
ABEL. Okay.
And the agency first name is Travis, Travis.
Got it.
And let me see if I have a work number. I believe the work number at the agency there in Sealy is 979-885-3524.
Got it.
And they have, multiple
realtors. Good.
Multiple realtors that work under the umbrella of the Travis Abel. But I mean, I think they sort of specialize in residential as opposed to the farm land. I mean, I'm sure they sell everything, but as opposed to farm and just acreage and that type of thing, I think they are more
better suited
for. And their home office is in Sealy, so
perfect.
They probably
could get out there.
They probably could tell you. So you said it's on Houston Street. They probably could tell you exactly where that is.
Yeah. And I think that's a good idea because these Houston-based, they have to make a trip out there. They have to plan a day because it's in Sealy. And I think this is a very good compromise, Judge. I'm comfortable with it.
All right. So Ms. Gonzalez, do you have any objection to the Travis Abel's firm selling the property?
No, that's fine.
Do you, Ms. Gonzalez, do you know basically where his office is? It's right there on Highway 36. Where the what's the big lumber yard right there, right on 36 in Sealy? I can see it, you know, the big orange sign.
I'm not sure, but I'll look it up.
Well, Judge, as soon as I call them, I will CC Ms. Gonzalez on every introductory email. So whatever response, and that is not going to be an issue. And I will email her
Yeah,
the
so
address.
if the two of you have lived in Sealy for the past year, and so Ms. Gonzalez, you've lived at that house for the past year?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, I bet you've driven by their office probably 1,000 times. So when you see it, you'll know it. It's right on 36.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Ramirez?
We can't hear you, Mr.
Yeah,
Ramirez.
you're-
It's
My
okay.
apologies. May I have a second to
Yes, if
tell
you wanna
Mr. Patiño what is going on? I haven't been
Sure.
able to.
Yeah,
let
if
him-
you could just tell him we didn't agree. So the judge went ahead and picked a realtor agency in Sealy.
Señor Patiño, no se pusieron de acuerdo con respecto a los agentes inmobiliarios ni el que usted pretendía que fuese ni el que la señora propuso. Por lo tanto, el juez sugirió un agente inmobiliario que está localizado en Sealy y que se llama Travis Abel. Y
Abel.
de eso Travis Abel. De eso están hablando en este momento. Va a ser esa la inmobiliaria supuestamente que venda la casa.
It's just a neutral agency. Ms.
Es una
Gonzalez doesn't know
agencia-
them. I don't know them.
Es una agencia neutral, o sea, la señora González no les conoce, su abogada, la señora Lo, tampoco les conoce, y es lo que sugiere el juez.
But referred by the judge,
Es lo que ha sugerido el señor juez.
which is a good
Okay.
compromise.
Y es un buen compromiso.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
It's the, I'm looking at my phone here just to get the name of that. Okay, it's the, you know, Ms. Gonzalez, if you know it's A-L&M Building Supply. That's the big thing right on 36, the lumber yard.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And
El
so
juez se
it's kind of, it's almost next to the Travis Abel real estate. It's sort of next to that A-L&M Building Supply. It's the big lumber yard with the orange signs.
Okay.
Mr. Ramirez, if you could just say he's describing where that agency is.
El juez acaba de describir dónde está localizada la agencia y él dice que está cerca de un aserradero que hay al lado de un lugar donde venden materiales para construcción que se llama ALIM, que tiene una señal color naranja.
But I will send him whatever information he needs, so he doesn't have
Pero
to worry about that.
su abogada le va a enviar toda la información que usted necesite y no debe usted preocuparse al momento por eso.
Okay,
Okay.
Judge, thank you.
And then for background, I'm assuming the note is in both names.
That's correct,
Supongo-
Judge.
Supongo que la
Yes.
hipoteca está a nombre de los dos. Sí, eso es correcto.
And does somebody write a check or is it drafted out of an account? How is that mortgage payment made every month?
¿Cómo,
So-
cómo se realizan los pagos de la hipoteca cada mes? Alguien me envía un cheque, lo quitan de la cuenta, la
So
abogada va a contestar.
Before October 2020, when they separated, they had a joint account and my client's paycheck and her paycheck went in there and Ms. Gonzalez would physically, send the money out.
Antes del mes de octubre del 2020, antes de que se separaran, tenían una cuenta bancaria conjunta y ambos, los salarios de ellos eran depositados en esa cuenta y luego la señora González físicamente enviaba un cheque para el pago de la hipoteca.
Since October 2020, my client sends the check, has been sending half, so it's about 1,100 to Ms. Gonzalez. And then Ms. Gonzalez deposits it and sends the whole payment to the mortgage company.
Y luego de octubre del 2000, mi cliente ha estado enviando un cheque por la mitad de la hipoteca, o sea, $1,100 a la señora González. Luego la señora González deposita el cheque y ella envía el pago total a la hipoteca.
Okay, so Ms. Gonzalez, is that accurate?
Señora González, ¿eso es correcto?
Yeah, payment was being done by phone, not by check, by phone. And he has I think for 2 times he mailed the check, and the last couple times he's been Zelling the money directly to my account.
Sí, los pagos se han estado realizando a través de pagos por medio del teléfono y creo que en 2 oportunidades él envió el cheque, pero mayormente lo ha estado enviando a través de Zelle.
Okay, so Ms. Gonzalez, then do you send the $2,200 to the mortgage company?
Señora González, entonces usted es quien envía los $2,200 al banco para la hipoteca? Sí.
And again, do you send a check or is that an automatic, debit out of your account?
¿Usted envía un cheque o se lo descuentan automáticamente?
They debited out of my account.
Me lo descuentan de mi cuenta.
And then, as I understand, Ms. Gonzalez, you're still living in the property?
Y según entiendo, ¿usted, señora González, sigue viviendo en la casa?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
Okay. And I know you said you didn't want to pay the whole thing. Are you willing to vacate the property and live some?
If that's your decision, yes, because I would not be able to afford the whole thing by myself. I
Sé
take
que,
care of also, so I wouldn't be able to.
sé que usted dijo que usted no quiere pagar la totalidad del pago mensual de la hipoteca, entonces ¿está usted dispuesta a salirse de la casa? La señora contestó, si esa es su decisión, sí, porque yo no podría hacer el pago total, esos pagos mensuales.
Okay. And of course, what I'm asking is if you vacate the property, I mean, it would be, an empty house and then just put up for sale. But of course, the mortgage still has to be paid, until it sales.
Bueno,
Now, the good news is, and I'm sorry, Ms. Ramirez, go ahead if you want to translate.
Lo que estoy hablando es de que si usted tiene que evacuar la casa, es salirse de la casa y vaciar la casa, salirse completamente y luego poner la casa a la venta. Yes, Judge.
And the good news is I can tell everybody that homes are moving pretty quickly around here. I would expect, unless there's just an exorbitant price, that it's probably going to sell, probably within about a month or so. I would think it's going to move pretty fast. And
La buena noticia es que a pesar de que los pagos de la hipoteca deben de continuar haciéndose, aunque se salga de la casa y se busque otro lugar, la buena noticia es que parece que las ventas aquí están realizándose bastante rápidamente, quizás tomaría 1 mes o 2, pero que se está moviendo bastante rápido las ventas.
The only thing that I would like to ask Judge is, if I can just get allowed to stay in the property until it gets sold, and for both of us to, be doing what we'd be doing, which is 50-50 of the mortgage.
Lo único que yo quisiera pedir, su señoría, es que hasta que la casa sea vendida, poderme quedar en la casa y que los dos continuemos pagando como lo hemos estado haciendo hasta ahora, mitad y mitad.
And that's what we'll have the hearing about. And I, fortunately haven't sold property in a while. So I wonder if it would be worth, I could call the Abel's real estate company real quick and just think, would they think it would sell faster if it's occupied with some furniture or if it's vacant? And I think people have different
Views.
different thoughts on that.
De eso se trata la audiencia. Creo que quizás podría llamar a la agencia Able y preguntar si les parece que la casa se vendería más rápida estando desocupada o si sería mejor que esté con los muebles y todo. Sería algo que ellos podrían quizás responder.
Okay, so I tell you what, I'll see here if I can talk to them on the phone so y'all can hear it. I don't know if
Voy a ver si puedo
this will work
llamarles.
or not.
Voy a ver si puedo llamarles por
We'll see.
teléfono y tratar de que todos ustedes puedan escuchar la conversación, pero vamos a ver si esto funciona o no. Ya se verá.
Good morning, Judge.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Oh, lovely. How are you?
Good. Listen, we're having a case here today, and we want to see if we can use you as a agent to sell some property in Sealy, a a residence on Houston Street. And the question is, it's a couple going through a divorce, and we're on a Zoom hearing. So let me ask can everybody hear? Okay, good. So I have you on speaker so they can all hear as we're talking.
Okay.
And if it matters here, the property's at 4353 Houston Street. In
4353. Okay.
Okay, so here's the question. The couple's going through a divorce. And so right now the husband has moved out and the wife is still in the residence. And so, they want to list it for sale, get it sold as quickly as possible. And then they're going to split any proceeds between the two of them. So the question I have for you, do you think it would sell quicker if the wife is still living there, has her furniture and things like that, or if the wife vacates the property so it's an empty house? Which works better?
Normally, it's better if there is at least some furniture for staging. So if she keeps it neat, then it would be better if it's being lived in. People can imagine themselves better in a home that looks like it's a home rather than just empty.
Okay. And we're obviously not holding you to anything like this, but in general, how fast are residents selling in the Houston in Sealy area?
Well, of course, that depends on a lot of things. I'm not even sure about the area where it is and what it looks like and what kind of shape it might be in structurally. If the roof is good, if the air conditioning's working, if it doesn't need paint, that sort of thing. All those things play into a quick sale. So right now, there's not much on the market. So it's a very good time to list. I can tell you that. I have one that was in a state and in pretty bad shape as far as the inside goes. It had a fairly good roof and it was hardy plank on a good sized lot, but the lot had all kinds of overgrown things, a fallen tree. We listed it for $135, which was really high because it was only 960 square feet. But we do have a contract working right now for $110 cash. So I'm not sure how large of a home this is.
And let me just ask. I'll just ask Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez is the spouse who's living there. Generally, what part of Sealy is this house located in?
¿En qué parte de Chile se encuentra localizada la
It's
casa?
actually, the exit is 723 to San Felipe.
Okay, she said the exit 723 towards San Philip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
And Judge, it's got 2,418 square feet and it has an attached garage.
Over 2,000 square feet.
I heard that the lady's talking about the roof and stuff when we moved in.
when might we go look at it so I could give you a better idea?
And whenever you're able to, I expect to, sign something today appointing the, Travis Able agency to sell it.
Okay.
And what they're kind of looking at is hopefully to get a sales price. Have y'all come up with what you suggest as a sales price? Now, I'm going to have to get this information. They just bought it a year ago. And
I see that. I'm looking at it here online, and it says it was sold September the 9th of 19, 283,000.
Correct.
And it looks like a lovely home, and it must be, it's on an acre and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is really good, but I need to run some comps and see what it's worth now.
So I would suspect, that there's not going to be a whole lot of equity in the house if it's just been listed for a year.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right. But then again, you don't know. In this market, it's really strange right now. It seems like a lot of people want to move here. So this looks like it would be a lovely listing.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, and let me just give you the two parties, the husband in this case is Christian Patino, Patino.
Okay.
And the wife is Nellie, Nellie Gonzalez,
Okay.
Gonzales.
Z, Judge. It's a Z at the end.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's two Zs.
Okay, on the. Yeah,
Okay.
on the
And-
case.
Oh, on the thing, it's wrong. I'll
Somebody
change that.
Get in touch with her to go look at the home. We could go this morning.
And we'll probably be tied up here in court here for just a little bit, but
Sure.
we're on a Zoom, so I'm looking at Ms. Gonzalez. Let me just ask Ms. Gonzalez, where are you right now?
I'm actually at work, but
Oh.
if she can go in Saturday to check it out, that would be great.
How about, would Saturday sometime work?
Sure, we could go Saturday morning if that would work. I just probably need if she would call me and give me her number so that I can have a way of contacting her.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Gonzalez, did you get Abel's number?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have your number, and so she will call you and arrange a time Saturday, and then now Miss Law, do you want your client there when
My
she's looking?
client should be there. So I can contact after this hearing. And who are you speaking with, Judge? What is her name?
Diane Abel?
Diane. Oh, Diane Abel. Okay. So if you don't mind, I will, after we're done with Your Honor, I will contact Miss Diane. I will give her all my contact information so I can be CC'd. And I believe Mr. Patino should be there. That way they can make sure they can, whatever needs to be done, he can hear it and everything is good.
All right. Okay, so, and that the person who's just talking is named Miss Law, Law, and she's the attorney for Mr. Patino.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you so much, Judge.
yeah, so she'll call you, and between Miss Law and Miss Gonzalez, set up a time Saturday. And this is the main sticking point in this case, so we want to try to get it sold as soon as possible.
You bet. Well, we'll do our very best.
Okay, real good. Thank you.
Judge, could I-
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
I tell you what, just before you leave, anybody else have any questions right now for Miss Abel?
No.
Let me see. No. Okay. Everybody shaking their head no. So, okay. Thank you. So I'll
Okay, thank you.
okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Judge, could I just have Ms. Ramirez take just a few minutes to
Sure.
translate that you contacted the ABLE agency? They are able to take on this listing. They, Ms.
Señor
Diane,
Pepino, el señor juez se ha comunicado con la inmobiliaria que él estaba recomendando, que se llama Travis Able. Están ellos dispuestos y pueden poner la casa a la venta. Y eso
and they
mismo.
indicate that looking at the specs, that it's a very good house, but they need to go see it in person.
La gente con la que habló el juez indica que podría ser una buena venta, que el mercado está bastante abierto en este momento, le parece que es una buena venta, pero que necesitan ir a verla en persona y hacer algunas comparaciones para los precios con las casas alrededor.
And the judge started asking, saying, which is better? Should we have the house vacant? Or is it better to have some furniture and have someone living there?
El juez también le preguntó cuál es mejor para vender la casa, que la casa esté totalmente vacía o que esté un poco amueblada.
And the realtor responded, if the house is neat, it's always good to have some furniture in the house for staging purposes.
Y la gente contestó que si la casa está bien ordenada, limpia y bien puesta, es mejor tener un poco de muebles para demostración. Indicó que a la gente que va a ver la casa le gusta situarse más o menos viendo cómo van los muebles en la propiedad y demás.
And so she needs to go out to the house, and Ms. Gonzalez indicated Saturday morning would be good for her.
Entonces la gente necesita ir a ver la casa y la señora González indica que el sábado en la mañana le queda mejor a ella.
And I indicated that I would like my client, Mr. Patino, there when the realtor is there, because you should be involved with whatever showings and whatever information is given at that time.
Y yo indiqué que yo quiero que mi cliente, el señor Patiño, esté presente también para que usted esté ahí al pendiente de todo y también se entere de lo que está pasando.
And I indicated that I would myself contact the assistant, Ms. Diane Abel, to give her all my contact information to coordinate what time works on Saturday for all parties to be there at the house showing.
Y yo indiqué que me voy a poner en contacto con la señora Abel, la gente, para dejarle saber, para que nos pongamos de acuerdo cuál es una buena hora para reunirnos todos el sábado.
Do you understand what we've said?
¿Usted entiende lo que hemos dicho?
Sí.
And are you in
Yes.
agreement with this plan of action?
¿Y usted está de acuerdo con este plan?
Ok.
Ok.
So,
Go ahead, Ms. Law.
well, I was going to say, I believe the judge is now going to try to figure out what do we do from now until the time the house is sold. But I don't want to overspeak, Judge. That was just my,
You're right.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
And so just another couple questions, and it would probably come out in testimony, but it'll just be quicker this way.
Move it along.
When is the next payment due, or what? And I'll just ask Ms. Gonzalez, like what time of the month is the payment made?
Señora González, ¿en qué época, en qué altura del mes se hacen los pagos? ¿Cuándo se vence el pago, el próximo?
They, it's between the 1st and the 15th, but I've been receiving the payment pretty much on the deadline.
Es del 1 al 15, pero he estado recibiendo los pagos casi a la fecha de vencimiento.
I received it on the 16th this month. Last
Este
month,
mes.
same thing.
Okay, so so my question is, has the March mortgage payment been made?
El
Yes.
pago de marzo ya ha sido hecho.
Yeah, I had to call yesterday. Whenever I received the payment, that's when it was.
Sí,
I
lo
called,
envié.
so-
Lo envié ayer. Cuando recibo el pago es que lo envío.
All right, so the next due date then is going to be April 15th.
La nueva fecha de vencimiento será el 15 de abril. La señora dijo que sí.
And then, you know, Ms. Gonzalez, I mean, do you want to get the house sold?
Yes.
Señora González, ¿usted quiere que la casa se venda? Sí, señor.
Okay, and so, I mean, you realize the best way to get the best price and get it sold quickly, you heard Ms. Abel say, is if there's some furniture there, but it's, you know, neat and organized.
Y usted se da cuenta que la mejor manera, la manera más rápida de vender la casa es que haya un poco de mueble ahí, como dijo la señora Evo, pero que tiene que estar bien ordenada, limpia, agradable. I didn't hear the answer.
Yes, I mean, you agree with that, or you have any questions about that, Ms. Gonzalez?
¿Está usted de acuerdo con eso? ¿Tiene preguntas respecto, señora
No.
González?
The only question that I was asking earlier is that, you know, for him and I to continue to be responsible for the mortgage until the house sells.
No,
Right.
lo único fue la pregunta que hice anteriormente, que sigamos siendo responsables del pago de la hipoteca los dos como lo hemos hecho hasta ahora.
Right, and we're going to have a little testimony and argument about that in just a minute. But I mean, I can tell you from my experience that there have been times when, you know, situations just like this, where there's a house to be sold, one party's in the house, one party's out, and the party that's in the house is really not that interested in getting the thing sold. And so, you know, for lack of a better term, they almost sabotage a sale by, you know, the place is a mess. And then so when people come to see it, they go, well, I don't want to live in this place because it's a dump.
Actually, it's actually a very beautiful home. It was upgraded. It was painted. It's actually a very nice home. And I think my still husband can tell you that. I heard the lady saying something about the roof and stuff like that. I know for sure the roof, whenever we moved in, the roof was 5 years old. So now it's 6 years old. So it's in really good condition and it's clean.
Después acaba de mencionar que él ha tenido circunstancias. La señora preguntó acerca de que si podían seguir pagando y demás. El juez mencionó el hecho de que ha tenido situaciones donde la persona que se queda a vivir en la casa de alguna manera trata de sabotar, hace un sabotaje a la venta de la casa, no manteniendo la casa limpia y ordenada. Entonces, cuando las personas interesadas en comprarla van a verla, pues se desilusionan y no les gusta lo que están viendo. La señora indicó que es una casa muy bonita, que está preciosa, que usted puede testificar con respecto a eso. Además, agregó que el techo es casi nuevo, tenía 5 años cuando lo compraron y que ahora tiene unos 6 años.
Your Honor,
Yes, Ms. Law.
if I may, is it possible to be in a breakout room with my client and the interpreter? I might be able to move this along if I might be able to ask my client a question. Is that appropriate? Can you just,
Absolutely. And
can we do
look
that?
at Ms. Lozano, can you do that, put Ms. Law, Mr. Patino, and Ms. Ramirez in one room. And you're muted, so I can't hear you, but she's shaking her head. I think she's able to do that.
Okay.
So we'll
And
wait
then-
here until we see you again.
So then I think someone has to come take me out of the breakout, or I guess I just leave the breakout room and I'll come back here. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
and just, I guess before you leave, make sure Mr. Patino knows
Yeah.
what to do.
To come out. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll just wait. So Ms. Gonzalez, you just wait here with us.
Okay.
Señor Patiño, nos van a pasar a otra sala, a usted, a su abogada y a mí. Usted va a ver en la pantalla que hay un cartelito que dice
Sí,
Join. Tiene que accionar ahí donde dice Join y nos vamos a pasar a otra sala, nosotros tres. ¿Lo puede hacer?
ok. Sí.
Hágalo ahora.
All right, Ms. Lozano, do your stuff.
They've got invitations to go.
All right, so. And we want Ms. Ramirez to go too. Okay, all right. So Ms. Gonzalez, you commute from the Sealy area to where you work every day?
That way.
You commute, I mean, you wake up in Sealy, but you go to Houston to work and then come back?
I work 24 minutes away from there. I work for Don McGill Toyota of Katy on I-10 and Mason.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, have you bought and sold real estate before?
Like as in, have I owned a house before or?
Correct.
Yes, my
Okay.
first house was when I was 24.
Okay, because you'll know what they will probably want to do is put one of these contraptions on the front door that has a security code, and so Miss Abel would know what that is. So if she brought somebody to show the property, she'd show up, hit the buttons, the door pops open, she gets the key and opens it up and walks in.
Yeah.
Okay. Mute myself.
Morning, Judge.
Where are we on the detention
The,
hearing?
the juvenile apparently went to go get a physical. The state has reviewed the information we have. That was the issue before, is we were going to move forward or not move forward based upon his statements that he made today.
Okay,
And so we've looked at it. We've decided, okay, yes, we can move forward. So now we're waiting on the juvenile to come back from a physical. That's going to be sometime between now and 1 o'clock.
okay,
I don't know exactly what time he'll be back.
okay. Okay, let me see, did Mr. Longoria just joined again? Did you hear that?
Yes, Judge. I just got off the phone with client and I've been talking to Ben this morning, so we're having a hearing, I guess, whenever they get back to the courthouse, correct?
Okay, and now, do we expect it to be a contested detention or?
No. My guy's not going to say anything. I think we'll just go forward with what the state has.
Not unless there's a proposed alternative to where he could go.
Ben, you okay if we just kind of put it out there of what's going on right now?
I can. It's up to you.
I'm okay. So Judge, there's other people.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
Well, the two of you, I have a family law case that people are talking, so Mr. Nystrom and Mr. Longoria, do you want to be in a breakout room and talk about this? And then, I mean, I anticipate we'll be done with the family law case relatively shortly, but it sounds like you have another, probably an hour or so until we're ready for the juvenile.
I was just going to give the court an update on kind of what this case is about. So if the three of us, me, you, and Ben could be in a breakout room, then I'm good with that. If not, we'll just wait.
Okay, well, we can just wait then.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
All right.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll go back to, let me see. So we have Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Law, and Mr.
Patino.
And the interpreter is live. Mr. Patino is still muted, so if he needs to say anything.
Señor Patino, tiene su micrófono apagado, enciéndalo.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Law, we'll go back to you.
Yes, Judge. I have, I believe it's a compromise I'd like to offer the court to consider. I believe that you have answered the question of selling the house and with whom. So now the question is payment of the mortgage. What my client is offering is to continue paying half the mortgage for April and May, just for 2 more months. And then after that, he just can't with his finances. But we believe that's a fair compromise that hopefully, if what Ms. Diane says, and God willing, this house sells quickly, that should be sufficient time. I think it also, you know, for lack of a better term, put some skin in the game for Ms. Gonzalez so that she doesn't just keep residing there and she understands that we do need to move this asset. So our offer to Your Honor is pay half the mortgage, the $1,000 for April and for May. And then that would be it. The financial obligation would end. Hopefully the house would be sold at that time. If the house is not sold at that time, then it'd be Ms. Gonzalez's obligation to pay the mortgage at that point.
All right, so Ms. Gonzalez, you heard that offer. Is that something that you want to accept, or do you want to go forward with a hearing?
Señora González, ¿ha escuchado usted la oferta que se le ha presentado? ¿Es una oferta que usted quiere aceptar o prefiere continuar con la audiencia?
I don't agree. He has to, I believe he has to be responsible until the house sells. I mean, I think that he has caused me enough pain, and, you know, I have to continue going to counseling for my panic attacks and anxiety that he caused me. So I cannot go through more stress. I can't. So I do.
Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and proceed with the hearing. And so I think at this point, the only issue is going to be mortgage payments, utilities, fees, costs, operating costs for the house. So there's, I guess, so first for Ms. Law, is that right? That's all we're talking about?
Well, and I guess the only other issue would be if she stays in the house, or if at this point we request her to vacate it. If she stays, then we're asking that you pay.
La señora no estuvo de acuerdo con la propuesta y por lo tanto el juez dice que se continúa con la audiencia para obtener más testimonio. Entonces las cosas pendientes sería el pago de la hipoteca, quién paga los gastos de la casa, los servicios públicos y demás. Ahora la abogada dijo que también entonces ahora estaría pendiente si se queda o si tiene que evacuar la casa.
Okay. So for Ms. Law, then, is that the issues we're going to decide is
Yes, Judge.
if she stays and who pays mortgage and utilities until the sale?
Yes, Judge.
Entonces, esas son las cosas que van a ser discutidas ahora, si se queda o no se queda en la propiedad y quién paga la hipoteca y los gastos de la casa.
All right, and then Ms. Gonzalez, are those the issues to decide if whether or not you stay and who pays the mortgage and utilities until the sale?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Just want to make sure is the only thing that I need to rule on is one, whether or not you stay in the property, and until the sale of the property, who pays the mortgage or how the mortgage is paid and how utilities and costs are paid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so let's go back on the record on cause 2020 L7719. And let's see, I've sworn in Ms. Ramirez. Ms. Law, who are your witnesses going to be?
Just Ms. Nelly Gonzalez and Christian Patino.
All right, so if I can get both Ms. Gonzalez and Mr. Patino to raise their right hands.
Señor Patino, levante la mano derecha para tomar juramento.
Do you and each of you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Juran cada uno de ustedes que el testimonio que van a ofrecer será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad. ¿Lo juran ante Dios?
Yes, I do.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ms.
Voy a
Law,
bajar la mano.
you may proceed.
Your Honor, I would call Ms. Nelly Gonzalez, please.
Llamo a la señora Nelly González, por favor.
Ms. Gonzalez, can you please state your name for the court?
Señora González, ¿puede dar su nombre para el acta, por favor?
Nelly Gonzalez?
And are
Nelly
you,
González.
are you currently married to Christian Patino?
¿Y está casado usted al presente con Christian Patino?
Yes.
And you got married on or about April 2016?
Yes.
¿Y se casaron alrededor de abril del 2016? Sí.
And you separated or stopped living together as husband and wife on or about October 4th, 2020, correct?
Yes.
¿Y dejaron de vivir juntos como marido y mujer o se separaron el 4 de octubre del 2020, correcto? Sí.
And you purchased this house with Mr. Patino on or about September 9th, 2019, correct?
Y
Yes.
compraron esta casa junto con el señor Patino el 9 de septiembre del 2019, ¿correcto? Sí.
And the monthly mortgage payment is about $2,200. Is that correct, ma'am?
La hipoteca mensual, el pago de la hipoteca es alrededor de $2,200 al mes, ¿correcto?
Yes.
Okay. And
Sí.
Judge, I have a document, my petitioner's number 1. May I screen share it?
Yes.
Okay.
Tengo un documento, la prueba documental del solicitante número 1. ¿Puedo compartirlo en la pantalla? Sí.
Do you guys see closing disclosure?
I don't see it yet.
You don't see it. Okay, let me stop sharing. Let's try it one more time. How about now? Closing disclosure?
Yes.
Okay,
I can see it, yes.
thank you. Now, Ms. Gonzalez, can you identify what this document is?
Señora González, ¿puede identificar este documento?
The house loan amount, loan?
Right, the closing disclosure, like you just stated, correct? Hello?
Yes.
Estos son los gastos de cierre.
And here it has the principal right, is $1,484.76, correct?
Mhm.
El balance principal del mortgage es 1,484,76, ¿correcto? Sí.
And I beg your pardon, ma'am, I think you have to say yes or no instead of, So is that a yes?
Yes.
And then you guys have escrow for the taxes, correct, of $638.13, correct?
Yes.
Y se le retiene la cantidad de 638,13 centavos para el pago de los impuestos, ¿verdad? Sí.
So therefore, the total is $2,239, correct?
Yes.
Por lo tanto, el total es 2,239, ¿correcto? Sí.
In this escrow amount, that includes property taxes and the homeowner's insurance, is that correct?
Yes.
Y esta cantidad retenida es para los impuestos de la propiedad y para el seguro de la casa, ¿correcto?
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to introduce petitioner's exhibit number 1.
All right, so Ms. Gonzalez, any objection to me looking at petitioner's exhibit number 1, what's on the screen?
That's fine.
González, ¿tiene usted alguna objeción? No, está bien.
Okay, so then petitioner's exhibit 1 is admitted.
Thank you,
La
Judge.
P1 se admite.
So the $2,200 includes the mortgage payment, the HOA fee, and the property, not HOA, homeowner's insurance and property taxes, correct?
Yes.
Entonces los 2,200 incluyen el pago de la hipoteca, el seguro de la propiedad y los impuestos, ¿correcto? Sí.
And since October 2020, when my client left the house, you have been living there, correct?
Y desde octubre del 2020, cuando mi cliente se fue de la casa, usted ha estado viviendo ahí, ¿correcto?
Yes.
Sí.
And who do you live there with, ma'am?
¿Y con quién vive usted ahí,
My
señora?
mom.
Your mother.
Yes.
Mi
Okay.
mamá.
And does she work?
¿Ella trabaja? No.
So,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear her response.
no.
I need to hear from her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, she doesn't work.
No, ella no trabaja.
Is that because she's just out of a job right now or she cannot work?
She cannot work. She has a back problem.
Eso es porque ella no tiene un trabajo ahora o porque no puede trabajar. No, ella no puede trabajar, tiene un problema en la espalda.
And how old is she, ma'am?
¿Qué edad tiene ella, señora?
I couldn't hear the answer because the interpretation's cutting her out.
63.
63.
So since October 2020, you've been paying for the lights, correct, that you and your mother use?
I've been paying all the bills.
Entonces, desde octubre del 2020, usted está pagando por la electricidad que usan usted y su madre. Bueno, yo he estado pagando por todo.
And I'm going through them. Lights, gas. Do you have internet?
Yes.
La electricidad, el gas. ¿Tiene usted internet? Sí.
Cable?
No.
¿Cable? No.
Water?
No.
¿Agua? No.
You don't pay for water?
No.
Who
¿Usted
pays
no
for
paga
water?
por el agua? No.
We have our own well.
¿Quién paga por el agua? No, tenemos nuestro propio aljibe.
So the only bills you pay are lights, internet,
Phone bill.
and that's your cell phone?
Both my mom and mine.
Entonces, lo
That-
único que usted paga es la electricidad, el internet y también el teléfono, dijo la señora. Ese es el teléfono suyo, es el de mi mamá y el mío.
So you pay you and your mom's cell phone bill.
Yes.
Entonces, usted paga el celular, el bill del celular del suyo y de su mamá. Sí.
And those are all the bills you pay.
And 2 credit cards.
Entonces, esos son todos los biles que usted paga y 2 tarjetas de crédito.
Those are credit cards at your name?
Yes.
¿Son tarjetas de crédito a nombre suyo? Sí.
So you lights, internet, 2 phone bills, credit card bills. That's it?
Yes.
And in
Entonces,
fact-
es la electricidad, el internet, 2 teléfonos y 2 credit cards.
I mean, does that have to do anything with the house, car insurance? Or, I mean, I don't understand.
Bills. So whatever bills you pay. So do you pay car insurance?
Yeah, car insurance. Groceries, I mean, gas, I mean,
También el seguro, la aseguranza del carro, gas, las compras del supermercado.
And what car do you drive?
What car?
Mhm.
Cadillac.
A Cadillac?
That's
¿Qué
correct.
vehículo?
If you could just wait, ma'am, let her translate. That way we can help the court reporter. So go ahead, Ms.
¿Qué,
Ramirez.
¿Qué vehículo maneja usted? Un Cadillac.
What kind of Cadillac? Cadillac Escalade?
¿Qué tipo de Cadillac? ¿Un Escalade?
No, SRX.
Okay.
No, XRX.
What year?
11.
¿De qué año? Del 2011.
And is there a car note on that or is it paid off?
Paid off.
¿Y ya está pagado o sigue pagando? No, ya está pagado.
And wasn't there another vehicle in your mother's name that you have?
¿Y no había otro vehículo a nombre de su mamá que usted tiene?
That's my mother's. That was my mother's. Like she already sold her. vehicle.
Objection, non-responsive, Judge.
Objections overruled.
Ese era de mi madre, ella ya no lo tiene.
The question, ma'am, was, wasn't there another vehicle that my client used to use that was in your mother's name?
La pregunta fue, ¿no había otro vehículo, señora, que usaba mi cliente que estaba a nombre de su madre?
He was borrowing.
Él lo
And-
estaba
and-
pidiendo prestado.
And he was making payments on that vehicle, was he not, ma'am?
¿Y él estaba haciendo pagos en ese vehículo o no, señora?
No, my mom.
Objection, non-responsive after no.
Objection sustained. So he was not making payments. That's what I understand.
No.
Hubo una objeción, entonces él no estaba haciendo los pagos. Eso es lo que yo entendí, dijo el señor juez.
And when my client left in October, he took that car, did he not, ma'am?
Y cuando mi cliente se fue en octubre, él se llevó ese carro, ¿o no, señora?
Yes, but I did not know he was.
Objection, non-responsive after but.
Sí, pero yo no sabía y hubo una objeción después de, sí.
So objection sustained. And then Ms. Gonzalez, you'll have a chance in a minute to give any explanation if you want.
And isn't
Señora
it true,
González, usted tendrá la oportunidad en un segundo de dar cualquier explicación que usted desee.
isn't it true, ma'am, that you called the police to have that car removed from my client and said that you reported it stolen? Is that correct?
Y no es cierto, señora, que usted llamó a la policía para que fueran a remover el vehículo de posesión de mi cliente y dijo usted que había sido robado. ¿No es
Yes,
correcto?
not stolen,
I'm sorry, was the answer yes?
but not stolen.
Sí,
Did you
pero
say-
no
I couldn't
robado.
hear you though. Did you say yes, but?
No.
Correct.
Yes, not stolen.
Okay, so non-responsive after yes.
Objections overruled.
So then my client, you got that car back and my client no longer had a car, correct?
Entonces usted tuvo ese vehículo de regreso y mi cliente se quedó sin vehículo, ¿correcto? Yes. Sí.
Now, you indicated that your mother doesn't work, so how was she paying for the car?
Ahora usted
In
ha
her
indicado que su madre no paga, no trabaja. ¿Cómo pagaba ella ese vehículo a nombre de ella?
She worked many years for a school, and then she got her 401k out, and she had money saved in the account, and that's how she was able to give us money. And there's proof of her transferring the money into our account to pay
Objection non, I'm sorry, to pay what?
the
The
truck,
car?
the car.
To pay the car. So is your testimony that my client never made a payment on that vehicle?
Nope.
Entonces su testimonio es que mi cliente nunca hizo un pago para ese vehículo. No.
So you've been paying, and so would you agree that if this judge allows you to remain in the house pending the sale of the house, that you should continue to pay the lights, the internet, and your own bills associated with living in that house?
Entonces
Do you
usted
agree
está
with
de
that?
acuerdo, usted está de acuerdo que si el juez le permite a usted quedarse a vivir en la casa, usted deberá continuar pagando la electricidad, los servicios públicos, el internet y todos los gastos de la casa. ¿Usted está de acuerdo con eso?
Yes, I agree. That's what I've
Okay.
been.
Okay,
Sí,
so we can at
sí,
least
estoy de
agree
acuerdo.
that the utilities and the cost of living in the house, you've been paying, you agree to continue paying same.
Yes.
Okay,
Entonces estamos de acuerdo que los gastos de la casa y todos los gastos asociados usted los ha estado pagando y va a continuar pagándolos. Sí.
now you work, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
¿Usted
And how
trabaja,
much-
correcto, señora? Sí.
How much do you make, or how do you get paid, ma'am? Is it salary? Is it per hour?
¿Cómo le pagan, señora? ¿El salario? ¿Le pagan por hora?
Per hour.
How much do you get per hour, ma'am?
18.
Can you work
$18 la
40-hour
hora.
weeks?
Yes.
Trabaja 40 horas a la semana, sí.
So roughly you make, I'm not so good at math, so forgive me, 18 by 40,
720.
720 a week, right?
Gana aproximadamente 720 a la semana, ¿verdad?
80.
More or
I
less.
didn't hear the answer. 720 a week, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that comes out to be about 3,000 and some change a month, correct?
Y eso
More
suma $3,000 y más al mes, ¿verdad?
It's 2,800, 2,880.
That's if you just take 720 times 4, correct?
Yeah.
Eso es
Okay.
2,880.
But if you take 720 times 52, because there's 52 weeks in a year, and then divide that by 12, you end up getting about 3,000 and some change.
Okay.
Okay.
Bueno,
And
si
you
se
can do the
toman en
math on your
cuenta,
phone.
si se toman en cuenta las 52 semanas que contiene el año, a 720 por semana sale arribita de los $3,000. Y puede usted calcularlo con su teléfono.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that would give you enough, if you had to pay the mortgage, because the mortgage is 2,200, correct?
Y eso le daría suficiente para si usted tuviera que pagar la hipoteca, porque la hipoteca es 2,200, ¿correcto?
That wouldn't give me enough.
No, no me daría suficiente.
Not with insurance taking off out of my check or the taxes and everything. I make literally $590 a week.
No, después de las deducciones en mi cheque, yo me llevo a casa 590 a la semana.
Well, you just said you make 720, but we have nothing here today to show us that, right, ma'am? Just your testimony.
Bueno, usted acaba de decir que usted gana 720, pero no tenemos nada acá para comprobar su testimonio, señora.
I have proof of stubs and
Objection, non-responsive, judge.
Objection sustained.
Tengo talones y demás. No
So ma'am,
objeción.
can you tell me, you heard or maybe you didn't, if my client was willing to continue to pay half the mortgage for the next 2 months, you don't find that to be a reasonable offer for you?
Entonces, señora, si mi cliente ofrece seguir pagando la mitad por los próximos 2 meses, ¿eso no es una oferta razonable para usted?
no, a reason for me to be reasonable.
Objection, non-responsive after no, judge.
Objection sustained.
No, sería razonable una objeción.
So my client has to pay his own living accommodations, right? Because he's not living at the house, is he?
Bueno, mi cliente tiene que pagar por su propia vivienda porque él no está viviendo en la casa, ¿o sí?
No,
Right.
he's not living in the house.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer. I'm sorry.
No, he's not living in the house.
No, él no está viviendo en la casa.
My question was, he has to pay his own living expenses.
La pregunta fue, él tiene que pagar por su propia vivienda y sus propios gastos de vivienda.
Does he have proof of that?
Objection, judge, non-responsive.
Objection sustained. And Ms. Gonzalez, you'll be able to ask Mr. Patino questions if you'd like.
Él tiene pruebas sobre eso, hubo una objeción y el juez le indica a la señora González que ella tendrá la oportunidad de hacerle preguntas al señor Patiño cuando sea su turno.
He's living somewhere, right, Ms. Gonzalez? He's not living with you, he's living somewhere.
Él está viviendo en alguna parte, ¿verdad, señora González? Él no está viviendo con usted.
I understand that and I understand the situation.
Yo
So,
entiendo eso y entiendo la situación.
so the answer would be, yes, he has to pay his own living expenses, right?
Entonces la respuesta debería ser sí, él tiene que pagar sus propios gastos de vida, de vivienda.
Yes.
So do you think
Sí.
it's fair that he has to pay half a mortgage where you are residing with your mom and also his living expenses
Entonces
for months?
¿Usted cree que está bien, que es justo que él tenga que pagar la mitad de la hipoteca de la casa donde usted está viviendo con su mamá por meses?
Yes, he's on the loan.
Sí, él está en la hipoteca, el nombre de
Didn't
él
ask
está en
you
la
on the loan, Mr. Gonzalez. I asked you if you think that that is fair.
Fair.
No No le pregunté si él está, el nombre de él está en la hipoteca, le pregunto si usted cree que eso es justo.
That's fair. That's fair to me.
Yes.
I have my reasons.
I didn't hear the last part. That's fair.
I have my reasons.
Yo creo que es justo
Non-responsive,
y tengo mis razones.
non-responsive after, that's fair.
Objection sustained.
Al igual la protesta.
So, Ms. Gonzalez, what is your plan? To just stay, live in that house and have the mortgage paid, half of it paid?
If that's why I'm asking the judge, if I have to move out, so we both have to be responsible for it, I'm willing to move out.
Okay.
Because
Entonces, señora González, ¿cuál es su plan? ¿Quedarse en la casa y que él le siga pagando? Bueno, ese es el motivo por el cual le estoy preguntando al juez que decida. Si me tengo que salir de la casa, me salgo de la casa.
So if the judge were to order that you have to vacate the house and that both parties have to pay, you're fine with that?
yes, I'm
You
fine.
would agree
Entonces,
with
si
that?
si el juez ordena que usted se salga de la casa y que los dos continúen pagando, ¿usted está bien con eso? Sí, estoy bien con eso.
So you agree, we have another agreement, that if you do stay, you pay all the utilities, or the judge could tell you to leave the residence and order both parties to pay that mortgage till the house is sold, and you would agree with that as well?
Entonces tenemos dos acuerdos. Usted se queda y sigue pagando los gastos o desocupa la casa y siguen pagando los dos los gastos, la hipoteca.
Yeah, if he decides that that if for me if I have to pay the full mortgage, I can't afford it. I can't. But if he decides that that for it to be fair or whatever y'all decide, if you know for both of us to make the house payment and be responsible, and I have to move out, I'll move out.
Bueno, si yo tuviera que pagar toda la hipoteca, yo no podría, pero si el juez decide que desocupe la casa y me tengo que mover, me voy, la vacío, pero continuar los dos siendo responsables y pagando mitad y mitad.
Okay, I have no further questions of this witness, Judge.
No
All
tengo
right,
más
so now,
preguntas.
I'm sorry. Ms. Ramirez, did you have anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, so now, Ms. Gonzalez, if you have something that you'd like to say, you can say that. Just say it in short segments so that Ms. Ramirez is able to translate. So say a couple sentences, then stop, and then wait till Ms. Ramirez is done, and then say a few more sentences. But you may
Vale.
begin.
Ahora, señora González, es oportunidad de decir lo que usted desee decir. Solo le pido que lo haga en segmentos cortos para que la señora Ramírez pueda traducir.
Well, I mean, all the situation, he's the one who filed for divorce, and he was the one who failed to be a good husband.
Bueno, con esta situación, él es el que hizo la petición de divorcio y él es el que ha causado el problema en el matrimonio.
He's the one who decided to move out of the property.
Él fue quien decidió salirse de la casa.
No one asked him to leave.
Nadie le pidió que se fuera.
And I was not even advised of him leaving the house. He left while I was in Mexico.
Y a mí ni siquiera se me dejó saber que él se iba a ir de la casa. Él se fue cuando yo estaba en México.
And I just only think that it's fair that he already has caused a lot of pain, and he knows this.
Él ya me ha causado mucho daño, mucho dolor, y él lo sabe.
And like I said before, I had to pay, counseling and medication for my panic attacks and my anxiety that still goes through now, that started in April 1 of 2019.
Y como he mencionado anteriormente, yo he tenido que gastar dinero en ir a consejería y terapia por el daño moral que me causó, y eso comenzando en abril del 2019.
I don't know if it's appropriate if you just want her to have the opportunity to speak, or if I could do an objection as far as relevance.
Yeah, I think now let's just let Ms. Gonzalez say what she wants to say.
Yes, Judge.
Por ahora le permitimos a la señora González decir lo que ella necesite decir.
If I don't have an attorney, it's because I can afford one, and all I ask for all the damage that he's done, you know, for him to be responsible of the mortgage 50-50. That's all I'm asking. And
Pues, si no tengo la representación legal de un abogado es porque yo no puedo pagar uno, pero todo lo que estoy pidiendo es que él asuma responsabilidad por todo el daño que ha causado y que podamos pagar 50 y 50.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it. I've suffered a lot from his drinking and driving. That's what caused this condition that I have since April 1 of 2019.
Eso es todo. He sufrido demasiado debido al problema de él de beber y manejar, y eso es lo que ha causado esta condición de la que yo estoy sufriendo desde abril 1 del 2019.
And I really don't want to cause any more stress on myself, on my emotional and mental health. I think if this has been enough, and obviously we want to end this. And I hope
yo ya no quiero causar más daño a mi salud emocional y mental. Creo que esto ha sido ya suficiente.
And that's all I have to say.
Y eso es todo lo que tengo para decir.
Ms. Law, any other questions?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Let me ask this. Okay. Let me ask a couple questions. So Ms. Gonzalez, is your mother staying in the house pretty much full time?
Señora González, ¿su madre se está quedando en la casa tiempo completo?
No, not anymore. She's been going with my brother or my sister.
No, ya no. Se ha estado yendo con mi hermano o mi hermana.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, since we expect there to be real estate agents showing the house and, you know, potential purchasers coming by all during the day, when you're at work, is there going to be anybody else in the house?
Solo me quiero asegurar, ya que la casa va a estar siendo visitada por un agente inmobiliario y van a haber posibles compradores que vayan a visitar la casa, que si su madre va a estar en la casa durante el día.
Nobody will be there.
No one will be there. Nadie va a estar ahí. I'm sorry.
My Spanish is getting better. I
I
understood
know, I was like,
exactly what
wow.
Ms. Ramirez said.
That was clear.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Law, anything else?
Just to be clear, if I may, just two more follow-up questions. So if the judge were to ask you to vacate the house, you would just be moving yourself?
Yes.
Entonces, I'm sorry, counsel, can you repeat
Sure.
the question?
Yes. If the judge ordered you to vacate the house, you would just be moving yourself?
Entonces, si el juez le ordenara a usted irse de la casa, usted se mudaría usted sola. La respuesta fue sí.
And that wouldn't, okay. That's it, Judge.
Eso es todo.
And Ms. Gonzalez, anything else that you wanted to say?
¿Algo más que usted deseaba decir, señora González?
No, that would be all.
Okay,
No,
so
eso sería todo.
All right, Ms. Law, anything else?
Not of this witness, Judge.
Okay, you have any other witnesses?
Just my own client, Judge.
Okay, you may proceed.
Mr. Patino, can you please state your name for the court?
Señor Patino, ahora testifica usted. ¿Puede dar su nombre para el tribunal?
Cristian García Patiño.
Cristian García Patino.
And you are married to Nelly Gonzalez, correct?
¿Y usted está casado con Nelly González, correcto?
Sí.
Okay.
Yes.
Since you moved out in October of 2020, are you living somewhere else?
Desde que usted se salió de la casa en octubre del 2020, ¿está usted viviendo en alguna otra parte?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have to pay rent?
¿Y tiene usted que pagar renta?
Sí.
Yes.
How much do you pay in rent?
¿Cuánto pagan de renta?
600.
600.
Okay. And is that an apartment? Is that a room? What is it?
¿Y eso es un departamento? ¿Es un cuarto? ¿Qué es?
Trailer.
A trailer.
Trailer. Okay. And sir, you also have to pay car insurance, correct?
Usted también tiene que pagar la aseguranza del carro, ¿correcto?
Sí, correcto.
Yes, correct.
Gas. Gasoline.
La gasolina.
Yes.
Yes.
And do you have a car note?
¿Y usted tiene que pagar por el carro? ¿Está pagando el carro?
Yes.
Yes.
And you heard me ask questions about what car were you driving before the police came and took it away from you? What car were you
Yes.
driving?
Y usted me escuchó hacer preguntas acerca de qué vehículo manejaba usted antes de que viniera la policía y se llevara el carro que usted estaba manejando.
Una Ranger 2007. 2007.
El 2007 Ranger.
And whose name is that car under?
¿Y a nombre de quién está ese vehículo?
Ese carro estaba a nombre de mi suegra.
That car was to my mother-in-law's name.
And did you ever make car payments on that car?
¿Y alguna vez pagó usted las cuotas de ese vehículo?
One second, Judge. Judge,
Wait,
I don't know
wait.
if I don't know if my internet messed up or what, but I didn't get the answer to whose name is that car under. And then everybody seemed to freeze up.
Okay, so Mr. Ramirez, can you repeat the answer to that question?
It was to the name of my mother-in-law.
And then I asked, did you ever make payments on that car?
Y la próxima pregunta fue, ¿alguna vez hizo usted los pagos de ese carro?
Sí, siempre.
Yes, yes, always.
And did somebody call the police on you for that car?
Y alguien llamó a la policía para que fueran con respecto a lo de ese carro que usted tenía.
Sí, me hablaron.
Yes, they called me.
What did the police say to you?
¿Y qué le dijo la policía a usted?
Me dijeron que tenía que entregar el carro porque según ellos me habían hablado que en una semana antes lo tenía que devolver.
They told me that I had to return the car because supposedly they had called me previously to tell me that I had to return the vehicle a week before.
Y yo no había hablado con nadie.
But I had not talked to anyone.
Y yo estaba en mi trabajo y me habló en inglés y le entendí un poco y le pasé a mi patrón.
And I was at work and I only understood a little bit in English, so I gave the phone to my boss.
Y me dijo que tenía que ir a entregar el carro porque si no iba a estar reportado en menos de 2 días y que me iban a meter a la cárcel y me asustó porque me dijo.
Permítame un momento. So he told me that I needed to return the car within 2 days. Otherwise, I was going to be put in jail. And I became scared because.
And then I'm going to go ahead and object as far as now a narrative, Judge.
Hay una objeción con respecto a lo narrativo. Tiene que esperar a las preguntas.
So when was this? When did you get this call?
¿Cuándo fue esto? ¿Cuándo recibió usted esta llamada?
Esa llamada fue como en noviembre.
That call was around Perdón.
Octubre o noviembre. Finales de octubre o principios de noviembre.
It was around October, towards the end of October or beginnings of November.
Okay. And so how much was that payment that you were making on that car?
Entonces, ¿cuánto era ese pago que usted hacía por ese carro?
$200 por mes.
$200 per month.
Okay. And now you have a new car note because you had to buy a new car, correct?
Y ahora usted tuvo que comprarse un nuevo carro y tiene una nueva nota que pagar, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Okay.
Yes.
So your monthly bills are the rent on your trailer.
Entonces, los gastos que usted tiene mensuales son la renta de la trailer.
Car insurance about $250, correct?
Y del seguro para el vehículo alrededor de $250, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And you have to pay for light and gas and water, right? Utilities?
Y tiene que pagar los servicios públicos, la luz, la electricidad, el agua, ¿verdad?
Yes. Sí.
That's about
Yes.
$100 or so?
Y eso es alrededor de $100.
Sí.
Yes.
You also have a cell phone?
También usted tiene un teléfono celular.
Sí.
About $150?
Alrededor de $150.
Sí.
Now,
Yes.
is it true, sir, last year you got a W-2 for about $22,000, is that correct?
Es verdad, señor, que el año pasado usted recibió la planilla W2 por una cantidad de alrededor de $22,000, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Judge,
Yes.
may I please screen share my exhibit number 4, which is my client's 2020 W-2?
Okay.
Van a compartir en la pantalla el documento, señor, la planilla W2 del 2020.
Can you all see this W-2?
The court can see it.
Okay. Mr. Patino, is this your 2020 W-2?
Señor Patino, esta es la planilla W2 del 2020 suya.
Sí.
Yes.
And does it say here that you made $22,418?
Y dice acá que usted ganó $22,418.
Sí.
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to introduce petitioners number 4.
All right, so Ms. Gonzalez, any objection to me reviewing this exhibit number 4?
No, that's fine.
All right, so exhibit 4 is admitted.
Thank you,
La
Judge.
prueba documental número 4 ha sido admitida sin objeción.
And to be clear, since October, you have given Ms. Gonzalez half of the mortgage. Is that correct?
Y para dejarlo claro, desde el mes de octubre usted le ha estado dando a la señora González la mitad del pago mensual de la hipoteca. ¿Eso es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And is that now becoming a hardship for you?
Y eso ahora se le está haciendo difícil a usted.
Sí.
Yes.
So you've paid October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months of half the mortgage, correct?
Entonces usted ha pagado octubre, noviembre, diciembre, enero, febrero y marzo. 6 meses ha pagado la mitad de la hipoteca, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. And are you asking the court that if they allow Ms. Gonzalez to stay in the house, that she pay the mortgage?
Y está usted pidiéndole a la corte que si le permiten a la señora González quedarse en la casa, que ella pague la hipoteca mensualmente.
Sí.
Yes.
Your Honor, if I could, I have exhibit number 5, which is just my summary of requested relief, which if I could just pull it up for Your Honor. Can everybody see? Oh, what happened?
Se va a publicar en la pantalla la lista de lo que se está solicitando.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce exhibit number 5 as a shorthand rendition of what my client's testimony would be regarding his requested relief.
All right, and Ms. Gonzalez, any objection to that exhibit being admitted into evidence?
That's fine.
All right, so exhibit 5 is admitted.
La prueba documental 5 ha sido admitida sin objeción.
Now, Mr. Patino, are you still willing, and you just answer this honestly, to pay half the mortgage for the next 2 months, for April and May, while this house is pending sale? Are you still willing to do that?
Señor Patino, para que conteste usted honestamente, ¿está usted dispuesto a continuar pagando la mitad del pago mensual de la hipoteca para el mes de abril y mayo, mientras que la venta de la casa está pendiente?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, but if after, so for the month of June, if the house is not sold and Ms. Gonzalez is still in there, are you asking that she then be responsible to pay because you would have paid 8 months of half the mortgage? Is that correct?
Pero si para el mes de junio la casa aún no ha sido vendida, ¿está usted solicitando que la señora González asuma los pagos completos de la hipoteca, ya que para entonces usted ya llevaría pagando 8 meses de la mitad del pago?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, if the judge orders that Ms. Gonzalez vacate the house, he can order however he wants the mortgage to be paid. Do you understand that, correct?
Ahora, si el juez ordena que la señora González se vaya de la casa, que él tome la decisión de quién va a pagar qué y cómo, ¿verdad? ¿Usted entiende eso, cierto?
Sí.
Yes.
In reality, judge can order whatever he wants in every aspect of this case. He's the judge. So I didn't mean to indicate he was limited in his in his power.
En realidad, el juez puede tomar cualquier decisión que él decida con respecto a cualquiera de los temas relacionados con este caso. Y eso es una realidad.
And Your Honor, this is all I would have from my client.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Mr. Patino? Again, at this point, the questions are just going to be about payment for the house. If you have questions, you can ask him.
Señora González, ¿tiene usted preguntas para el señor Patino? Y en este punto usted puede hacer preguntas solamente relacionadas con la venta o el pago de la hipoteca de la casa.
No questions, just for him to be responsible for the mortgage.
No
Okay.
tengo preguntas, solo que él sea responsable por la mitad de la hipoteca.
All right, so Ms. Law, anything else?
That's it,
¿Algo más,
Judge.
señora? No, eso es todo.
And one thing I thought about that I want to go back and just ask Ms. Gonzalez, have the taxes been paid for the property?
Otra cosa que quería regresar y preguntarle a la señora González, ¿se han pagado los impuestos de la propiedad para la casa?
Yes, that have been paid.
They're in the
Sí.
mortgage, Judge, on that closing document that I introduced as exhibit number 1. The homeowner's insurance and the property taxes are escrowed.
Yeah,
Sí.
everything's included in the payment.
Sí, han sido pagados porque está todo incluido en el pago mensual de la hipoteca junto con el seguro de la propiedad.
All right, then Ms. Law, since you're representing the petitioner, I'm going to have you prepare an order in this case. How much time will you need to get that done?
I can get it, I mean, I can get it done by Friday, Judge. Today's Wednesday? Tuesday. What's today?
Today is Wednesday, the 17th.
Yes, I can get it done by Friday.
And do you have Ms. Gonzalez an email?
Mhm.
All right, so how quick could you get something to Ms. Gonzalez to look at?
I could probably, I can get it done today and email it to her. Because I'd like to get this on the market. I know they need orders and, you know.
All right, so Ms. Gonzalez, what'll happen, I'm going to read an order into the record. And Ms. Law is going to type up something that follows what I say. She's going to email that to you. And if you think there's something that Ms. Law put in there that's not what I said, you get back with Ms. Law and try to work out any differences. But I'll have an entry date. So the date that I'll sign this, I'll have be Monday, March 22nd.
Okay.
Lo que va a pasar a continuación, señora González, es que yo voy a dictar la orden. La señora Law va a tomar nota de la orden que yo dicte y ella va a preparar la orden para que yo firme. Primero se la van a entregar a usted, señora González, para que usted la revise. Si usted está en desacuerdo, trate de comunicarse con la señora Law y ver si pueden arreglar lo que sea. Y luego yo la firmaré. Para la fecha del 22 de marzo será que voy a firmarlo.
Judge, if everybody signs, we work it out, I just submit it, or do I also do it to appear live to let you know, hey, oh, no, just submit it.
If it's all agreed to, just e-file it and I'll sign it.
Good.
Okay, so again, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Law will email this to you. If for some reason you think she's put something in the order that's not what I said, and the two of you can't agree, well, then I'll need to hear from you back on Monday. But if everything follows what I said, whether you agree with it or not, if she writes down what I said, then I'll just sign that on Monday.
And would that be the same Zoom login that we're using here today, Judge?
No, we'd have to
Okay.
have a
I'll
new,
get with the coordinator. Yeah,
yeah. So if there's a problem, just get with us and we can set that back
will
up.
do, Judge. I don't think there'll be a problem.
All right. Well, then for an order in this case, I'll order that the property will be listed with Travis Abel Real Estate in Sealy, Texas.
Entonces yo ordeno que la propiedad sea puesta a la venta a través de la agencia inmobiliaria Travis Abel en Sealy, Texas.
Either the parties or Ms. Law are going to be ordered to contact Diane Abel today and answer any questions she has about the property.
Ya sean las partes o la señora Law, se pide que se comunique con la señora Diane Abel y contestar cualquier pregunta que ella pudiera tener con respecto a la propiedad.
The parties will meet with Diane Abel at the property location on this Saturday, the 20th.
Ambas partes se van a reunir con Diane Abel en la propiedad este sábado, el día 20.
When the parties meet with Diane Abel, if they're not able to agree on a beginning sales price, then Ms. Abel has the ability to establish the selling price for the house.
Si las partes al reunirse con la señora Abel no pueden llegar a un acuerdo con respecto al precio de venta, al precio inicial de venta de la casa, la señora Abel podrá decidir cuál es el precio adecuado para la venta de la casa.
And then if I didn't say it already, both sides are ordered to sign the listing agreement with Travis Abel's business.
Y ambas partes se les ordena firmar el acuerdo de representación y venta con la agencia inmobiliaria Abel.
Okay, while Ms. Gonzalez is residing in the property, she's ordered to keep the house neat and orderly and not restrict any potential buyers from seeing the property.
Mientras que la casa esté puesta a la venta, la señora González se le ordena mantener la casa en buen estado, bien ordenada y no interferir con ninguna de las posibles compradores o la visita de los posibles compradores.
While Ms. Gonzalez is residing in the property, she's responsible for paying all the costs associated with living in the property, such as the utilities, the internet, and any maintenance on the property.
Y mientras que la señora González esté viviendo en la casa, tendrá la responsabilidad de encargarse de los gastos asociados con la vivienda en la casa, los servicios públicos, internet y todos los demás gastos.
If the house does not sell and Ms. Gonzalez vacates the property, then the parties will be responsible for each paying a half of those costs.
Si la casa no se vende y la señora González deja la casa, desocupa la casa, ambas partes serán responsables por los gastos.
And as far as the monthly cost that includes the mortgage, the insurance, the tax, and the HOA,
y con respecto a los gastos de la hipoteca, que incluye la aseguranza de la casa, las propiedades y los gastos de la asociación, los taxes de la propiedad y los gastos de la asociación,
Mr. Patino is ordered to reimburse Ms. Gonzalez the following amounts.
se le ordena al señor Patiño devolverle o reembolsarle a la señora González las siguientes cantidades.
By April 10th, May 10th, and June 10th, he is to reimburse her the amount of $900.
Él deberá reembolsarle a ella la cantidad de $900 para la fecha de abril 10, mayo 10 y junio 10.
If the property is not sold by June,
Si la propiedad no es vendida antes de junio,
then Ms. Gonzalez is ordered to vacate the property no later than June 30th.
entonces se le ordena a la señora González desocupar la casa no más tarde del 30 de junio.
And after that time, both parties would pay one half of the mortgage, the insurance, and the taxes beginning for the July payment.
Y luego de esa fecha, de junio 30, ambas partes pagarán la mitad cada uno de la hipoteca, el seguro de la casa y los taxes de la propiedad, comenzando en julio, en el mes de julio.
All right, Ms. Law, do you have any questions about that rendition?
Just, I want to make sure I got this right. My client's to reimburse Ms. Gonzalez $900 on 3 dates, April 10th, May 10th, and June 10th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that can be done by Zelle as he's normally been doing it.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, whatever mechanism they've been
Yes.
using will continue.
And to be clear, your condition, if the house, so while she's living in the house, she's to pay, like she said, utility, internet, maintenance costs. If house is not sold and Nelly Gonzalez vacates, then both parties pay half the cost. Was that your rendition?
Yes, and not only the costs of maintaining the house, the utilities, internet, maintenance, that type of thing. But then they would each pay 1/2 of that mortgage bill with the July payment.
And this is if Ms. Gonzalez vacates the house prior to it being sold or after June when she vacates,
Yeah,
and the same thing,
After June 30th or
30th.
beginning July 1st.
right? So that provision kicks in either she moves out before it gets sold or July 1st if it's not sold and she's had to be in order to vacate.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, but God willing, this will sell from our lips to God's ears in a month, and we won't have to do this.
Yes, I don't see for sale signs staying up too long on properties
I
around.
know,
so
I know.
think they're
Now,
fairly-
let me ask you a question, Judge. Am I allowed to put a provision in the order that if the house sells prior to May 10th or June 10th, my client will no longer have to reimburse her the $900? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Si la casa se vende antes de mayo 10 o junio 10, entonces no es necesario poner y que el
Okay.
señor Patiño le pague a la señora los $900.
I got it.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, do you have any questions about that?
When you say about the $900, is that like the mortgage payment? Part of the mortgage payment?
Yes.
Los $900 se refieren al pago de la hipoteca. El señor juez contestó que sí.
So that's what I'll be getting April and May.
By April 10th, May 10th, and June 10th, if the house doesn't sell,
That's the
Yes.
amount that we'll be giving.
he's to give you $900, again, by April 10th, May 10th, and June 10th, if the property does not sell.
Okay.
El juez acaba de aclarar que si la propiedad no ha sido vendida, tendrá el señor Patiño que entregarle a la señora González la cantidad de $900 en las fechas de abril 10, mayo 10 y junio 10.
Understood.
Got it.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, we
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
can go off the record. I was going to let Miss Law tell her something for the future, for her legal practice that'll hopefully go on for years and years. If she represents more people in the country, just when you ask about the water, see what happens a lot of times out in the country is people have a water well.
Oh, well.
And so the well is run by electricity.
Okay.
See, so they don't pay a water bill, but
But
they
the
pay the electricity for sucking the water out of the ground.
Yes, yes. And I should know that because my people live in Bandera.
Oh, okay.
But I'm here in Houston and I was like, what? A well?
Yeah, yeah, it's not that uncommon out in the
No, in the country.
out in
Yeah,
the country to not have a water bill.
yeah. Yeah, no, it happens, my friend. It happens.
All right,
I forget.
real good. Well, then I'll look forward to signing that order on the
Yes.
22nd. Everybody get with the Ables,
Yep.
contact them today.
Yep.
With
I'm calling right now.
information. Okay.
Thank you so
All right.
much, Judge. I appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
Have a
Judge,
good day.
before we go, I wanted to apologize for the interruptions and to the court reporter as well. My sincere apologies, but it's difficult to do and I have no other way
Right. Well,
than interrupting at times.
right. And it's difficult when everybody's live. So adding Zoom makes it even more difficult now.
Exactly.
Our hope is out here that by, mid-April into May, we'll be coming back to live. So,
Well, I have a live jury trial in June here in Harris. I think I'm one of the first. Great guinea pig.
yeah, that's
So
right.
we'll see what happens.
Okay, real good.
Thank you, Judge.
You're all
Bye.
Thank you. Have a
Bye-bye.
good
Thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, now, Ms. Lozano, do I understand I don't want to end the meeting because I'll have Mr. Nystrom, Mr. Longoria, and Mr. Patino, you can leave if you'd like.
So-
I'm gonna leave him.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Salir.
Okay. All right. So now I think the meeting's still up.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Nystrom, I see you're on the 3rd floor. Where's,
The juvenile is just outside the hallway, Judge. I think Stephen wanted to visit with him over Zoom for a few
Okay.
minutes in the breakout room. So if
Okay.
you can put this computer in a breakout room and Stephen, I'll leave, and then I'll try to, I guess, tell Stephen. I don't know if Stephen's there or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him a message here to ask him to unmute, but he was here earlier. Okay, now he's back.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're gonna put the third floor courtroom with the juvenile and Mr. Longoria in a breakout room.
And I'm going to log in from my office computer here in just a second, Judge.
Okay.
I'll be in the main meeting now.
Okay. And is a juvenile going to know what to do when we're done with the breakout room? Silly question. Every 14-year-old probably can work this great.
Well, we'll have juvenile probation come in and help him if he needs it.
Okay.
So, Stephen, if you wind up having any problems, just leave the room and tell someone.
Uh-oh, Ben just froze there. So how much of that hearing could you follow, Mr. Longoria? Oh, he's muted now.
I was doing other things. I'm getting ready for a Harris County plea. And, you know, you're going through portals to get paperwork and it's crazy. Crazy times. All right, I'm going to go join the
Okay.
Karina's inviting me to a room.
Yeah. Now she's waving goodbye.
Waving goodbye.
Na 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 na. Hey, hey, goodbye. It works. I'm going to go to the baño while we're waiting here. When you translate, that means the bathroom. Oop.
I'll get a judge.
Okay. But all's good.
Karina, is Judge around?
He just stepped off the bench. He'll be right back.
Okay. Was he wanting everyone to be on Zoom?
Everyone's going to need to be on Zoom if I'm to hear something.
No, he was, juvenile probation was wondering if they could be in the courtroom with Judge or.
But if they're in the courtroom with Judge, I'm probably not going to hear them if this needs to be on the record.
Okay.
At least I won't hear them clearly enough.
All right. Okay.
And I sent Courtney the Zoom link.
Okay. I'll let them know.
Yes.
Judge, while we're waiting on Stephen and the juvenile, I'm going to run down to the county clerk's office real quick to file some cases. I guess I'm not running down to the county clerk's office real quick. Hold on, hold on.
Sit with him, and Dad went to the restroom. He's coming right back. Is there anything else we have? No, once the judge signs, me and you'll go into the judge's office to the courtroom, and we'll get all the paperwork and make copies of it and give it to you.
I'll go down there and then just wait down there.
I'm gonna go with you and wait for the hearing.
Okay.
And if you'll stay up here.
Yeah, and the detention paperwork on Cassie's desk under the medicine.
And yes, and we already got it in the car. So, thank you.
Mr. Longoria, this is the initial hearing. Did you want a record of this one?
Yes, Judge, please.
Okay.
If we can.
Okay.
And Judge, before we begin, I hadn't conferred with Stephen at this point, but do we have an agreement or are we in disagreement as to what's happening today?
I think, well, I guess we're in disagreement right now, but we're ready to go forward.
Okay. Well,
My client and I are not going to be asking any questions. That helps you any on what we're doing.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, everyone else is down. So we're all just gonna do this on Zoom. Kinda. Can't hear them.
Okay. So do we have everybody present we're going to need? Who's going, Mr. Nystrom, are you going to put on any testimony as far as detention?
Only as far as necessary to establish probable cause for detention, if that's at issue here.
Okay. And so, Mr. Longoria, is that at issue that you're going to want to hear some of that?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. And this is cause number 4907 in the matter of EL, a delinquent child. And so, Mr. Nystrom, if I can get you to announce who your witness will be.
My name is Benjamin Nystrom for the state of Texas. My witness today will be Investigator Grimes with the Sealy Police Department. He's situated behind me on camera.
All right, and Mr. Longoria, if I can get you to announce.
Stephen Longoria, I was appointed to represent the child in this case, Judge.
All right, and Mr. Lindberg, if I can just get both the parent and the child, just state their names for the record.
Emmanuel Lindberg. Mark Lindberg, father.
Emmanuel, you need to move real close to the camera and you need to make sure you speak up, Emmanuel.
So, Mr. Grimes, if I can get you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All Mr. Nystrom, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Before we do, Karina, were you able to hear me, Officer Grimes?
Not, you're kind of muffled.
Okay. Because you're situated a little further back, you may have to just speak up pretty loud. Okay. So if I could have you state your name for the record.
My name is Russell Grimes.
Okay. And how are you employed?
I'm an investigator with the Sealy Police Department.
And how long have you been in that role?
Approximately 2 years.
Okay. And are you familiar with the juvenile that's situated on the Zoom today under the label third floor courtroom?
Yes, sir, I am.
And what is his name?
Emmanuel Lindbergh.
And can you briefly explain to the court why it is that we're here today with Mr. Lindbergh?
So we've had some reports that initiated through CPS that led us to open investigation. We contacted Emmanuel's father and arranged a forensic interview to be held at the Children's Advocacy Center in Fort Bend.
And what did you learn at the forensic interview?
The interview was conducted on yesterday's date, in which a 9-year-old gave an account of some situations that happened with Emmanuel, and one of which of situation was that he touched the 9-year-old's penis with his hand and also his butt.
And where would this have occurred?
At their residence.
And what city is that located in?
That's in Sealy, Texas.
In County of Austin, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what type of offense is that, and what degree of offense is that?
That in itself is an indecency with a child by contact.
Is that a second-degree felony?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that occurred at their home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe personally that it would be in the best interest of that home and Emmanuel for him to be removed at this time and placed into a detention center?
I do.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, we pass the witness.
Mr. Longoria.
Detective Grimes, you said that these were reports that initiated through CPS, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were there statements taken from anybody else other than the 9-year-old?
Statement was taken by or from the father, Mark Lindbergh.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Nystrom, anything else?
Judge, we have no further questions.
And Mr. Lindbergh, the father, have you had enough time to discuss this matter with Mr. Longoria?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And Mark Lindbergh, do you have any questions about what's happening today?
No, sir.
All right, so Mr. Nystrom, anything else?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, well then, Emmanuel, I'm going to find there's what's called probable cause to believe this happened. And so order that you'll be detained. And so you'll be sent to a facility in Montgomery County. And then the juvenile probation and your attorney will be looking at either other facilities or whether or not we'll bring you back here.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So anybody have anything else?
No, Judge.
All right. Well, then I've signed the detention order and that'll go down, I guess, to the clerk's office and we'll get copies for everybody.
I'll come down and get that, Judge.
And that Miss Estep is here, so I think she was going to do that.
Courtney's going to come down and get that, Judge.
He got it in her hand right now.
All right. All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank
you. If y'all just, Courtney will forward that to me, or Kyle will forward that paperwork to me, please.
Yes, sir. I'll do that.
All right. So we'll go off the record. All right. So I think we can end it for the child and his parent.
Mark, did we get the physical done?
No, we had to come back too quick. It probably would have been an hour or two longer, so I had to leave.
Okay, that's fine. I think probation can probably get the physical done is what I heard.
Yeah, well, we're gonna arrange it in with Montgomery County to figure out
Okay,
getting it done.
okay. Emmanuel, just stay out of trouble while you're in detention, okay?
Yes, sir.
No issues there. Don't make it worse. Then we'll go from there and figure out what we're gonna do, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Where do we go downstairs?
Guess just before Mr. Longoria and Mr. Nystrom leave, I'm just to try to count up the days. If he's not in the other facility before we needed another detention hearing. Okay, so it looks like the 15th working day I show is April 8th. So I'm not going to hold you to this, Mr. Longoria, but if he's not in Pegasus by the 8th, do you anticipate we'd need another hearing, or would you anticipate waiving the detention hearing?
I would anticipate a waiver. It was my understanding from Courtney that it's probably about a 30-day process. So yes, I will speak to Dad and Juvenile about that when we get closer to that point.
Okay, so I guess everybody just keep that April 8th date in mind. I show that's the 15th working day. And so on the 8th, we'd either need to have a waiver or another hearing. Well, just come back up whenever you're done with that. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording and then say something that may be funny, but so I don't want to record it.